Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally, guys. I have been, just looking, and I've always been what I'll say is an advocate for remote work because it definitely gives the employees and employers benefits and actually increase productivity across the board, studies have shown. And this particular article is actually no different. Of course, guys, as you're coming in, please like, comment, share, and subscribe because, of course, I am going to share my perspective on this specific article that we're going to go into. The title of the article says, let's jump right in here. I'm not even going to I want to make sure that you guys get a good view of what's going on here. It says, company ended remote work today. Worker laments the loss of remote working despite record productivity at their company. So the record productivity came about because they all were working remote. This article was written on Monday, which would have been uh, May 1st by Brad P. Dickens from, is this from Market Today? Is that the place? From Cheeseburger. Interesting. Now, let's take a look and dive in and see what's going on with this here. It's always surprising when decisions directly contradict an organization's stated values and fly in the face of their own data and analysis. Yet, many companies' responses to remote working are exactly that, choosing to return to offices despite the increased productivity and record profits they've been having with, of course, remote work. It leads one to wonder why. And I'm asking the same question as a career coach. The real answer we'll never know, but it's probably close to what is often theorized in these discussions. Somewhere, a manager who hasn't adapted to their perceived loss of control is trying to justify their existence. Not surprising, but could be true. The worker took to Reddit, Reddit anti-work subreddit, to share their story and lament the loss of what had been a positive remote working experience. Despite consistently reporting the success and strength of having a remote workforce, the executive suddenly required all workers to return to the office. The issue is that over the years, workers grew accustomed to remote work, changing their lifestyle and resourcing to be better suited for working from home. Now, with the impending return to work looming over them, some workers don't know what they're going to do. Commenters responded to the post, growing the thread into a varied discussion on remote work and the original poster situation at hand. Some commentators call the move a stealth layoff or quiet layoff. Oh Lord. A nod to last year's trend of quiet quitting. Others encouraged the original pollster to find new work, while others still shared stories of their own. Keep reading to see a selection of these discussions and some screen grabs of the original thread below. Next, see this working dad who quit after being denied 3 days leave of 3 months in advance. We're not going to go into that particular thread, but here's the original thread. Company ended remote work today. After 3 wonderful years of waking up 5 minutes before my morning stand ups, spending breaks walking my dog in a nearby forest or taking care of chores so I don't have to spend weekends on them, and saving thousands of dollars on commute expenses, my work's executive team announced a mandatory return to office this morning. This comes after they repeatedly announced that work from home has been a resounding success and has improved productivity. And has saved the company millions, even promising in writing that the work from home would be a permanent change. There's nothing permanent if it's not your organization. Let's just be clear about that, folks. Many of my coworkers moved or sold their cars as a result of those promises. Now it's looking like anyone who can't or won't comply with the order will be fired. For those who can comply, that comply. This will effectively be a pay decrease across the board, creating unnecessary commute costs, as well as serious hits to the workforce, the work life balance. Leadership has refused to provide any data supporting their new claims that working from home is efficient and does not allow effective communication, and instead has insisted that we trust that they know what is best for the company. That sounds like some shisty underhanded moves there. Somebody trying to justify their paycheck in leadership. But I digress. Let me keep going. Remember, everyone, no matter how great you think your company is, no matter what your bosses promise you, there are all still just red lines in the ledger to them to be cut or replaced whenever they feel like it. Never trust an executive, never give them anything but bare minimum. Now, see, this is encouraging folks not to put out forth their best efforts because the company is not keeping their word as stated in the previous areas of this article. Somebody responded, many of my coworkers moved or sold their cars as a result of their promises. Now it's looking like anyone who can't comply with the order will be fired. I'm convinced many companies are ending work from home for this very reason, and thus return to the office is actually a stealth layoff. I wouldn't doubt it for a second. They don't have to do the layoffs and they don't have to pay for the layoffs, and people will leave on their own because they no longer have work from home as an option. That's just my opinion, but we're going to go further into this. These are other people's responses. This is not getting the attention it should. Companies subtly ending work from home are doing it so they wouldn't have to do mass layoffs. This way, the workers would find other jobs instead. It's somebody else said it's called quiet layoff. Well, somebody else said start looking for a new job. Somebody else said already on it, on the clock, of course. I wouldn't recommend you guys do that, please. As a career coach, you always have to make sure. I'm not having a problem with you looking for another job, but please do it outside of work hours, just to remain professional, because then that'll be another reason for them to let you go. Okay. Then, of course, another response. Sorry for your loss. I'm glad it lasted as long as it did for you. It's beyond stupid that we even need to have this conversation. It would be nice if everyone would come back into the office. It would be nice if everyone who comes back to the office is less productive. Ouch. Oh, trust me, we will be. The other person responded. The other person responded, said, a friend of mine was reporting in an office about 10 minutes away from her house. Worked there for nearly 20 years. Worked from home for the past 3 years with similar success and results. They informed her not only will they be requiring people to report to their office, that her office was being moved, not an extra 10 minutes to another building, not the half an hour to the headquarters, but to a satellite office an hour and a half away. They are now about to lose a 20-year top performer in their group. Idiocy all around. I would say so myself. Wow. Another responder. Why do they always seem to have fake numbers backing up their reasons? Because they don't really have justifiable reasons other than we're not. A lot of these companies, unfortunately, which I'll get into a little bit more, have an issue with not trusting their employees because they have managers that want to be in charge and want to be able to demand and direct their staff, and they feel like they can't do that remotely, which is not necessarily on the staff, it's on their lack of leadership skills. Another responder. Why do they always seem to have fake numbers to back up their reasons? My company did the same thing. I have exemption because I'm very far away. Who TF are these Gen Z people they claim demanded to go back to the office? I don't know. The responder, the person that wrote the article says, as my college stats professor once said, you can make anything seem true if you attach a number to it. Yep. That's only 80. Somebody else said that's only 83.1% true. The original poster says, I dig your style. Another responder said it's all about control. Full stop. There may be some truth to that. And someone else said, the otherwise useful middle management is trying to justify their worth. I in some cases wholeheartedly agree with that assessment. My take on this whole thing, as you guys know, the people, if you're showing that you're more productive and your numbers are better and your stats are better, your staff is working better because they're working from home, and your choice is to pull them back into the office because of some perceived loss of control, then the leadership from the executives on down clearly have an issue with overall control and thinking that they're going to keep control because having them physically be in the office is going to give them that. Number one, that's a bunch of wahala. Number two, if productivity is not being negatively affected, as a matter of fact, it's going to be negatively affected when you bring them back all to the office. The real reason is a lot of it. I'm just going to be very forthcoming and honest. My assessment of some of it is ego. Some of it is greed and ego. They want to see people because that's the only way they know how to manage. Instead of learning a different management style that gives credence to them to employees working remotely, they'd rather sacrifice productivity to have that control, because control is the ultimate, not productivity, not making sure your bottom line increases, but control. There are some where there may be one or two employees that actually got, maybe have misused their work from home privilege to do some very careless things, some that egregious company policy, and they're using that one person as the excuse to not allow any more work from home. That may be one of the issues. There may be some other underlying issues that they're not sharing. There could be all kinds of things. My question is this: is the drop in productivity truly worth bringing people back home from work, or back home, bring back people back to the office? I mean, is the lack of productivity, or the decrease in productivity, truly worth it to appease your ego? Two, there's going to be some other questions that I ask, but at the end of the day, if you have an employer that decides to do this, make sure you have your resume ready. Make sure you have all of your ducks in a row, so to speak, and you have your tools ready. You can definitely go to metroshelley.com/consultations, where I can definitely help you get your resume updated, get your professional portfolio ready, so that when you start getting interviews for new positions that remain work from home, you are not, going out there in the dark. You have all of the tools you need to be able to land another position with a company that is not reneging on written, reneging on changes that they specifically stated that they were not going to be making. This company first said they're going to keep work from home permanently, and then all of a sudden change. Keep in mind, folks, the only economy you can control is your own. So if they decide to make changes based on their own business needs, this is what companies do. The only thing you can control is what you do and how you react to certain situations. So always remember that in the job market. And I do not ever want you to think otherwise, that, they made the decision to do this and to do that. You can definitely strike out on your own, or find another opportunity that suits your overall personal economy. And if that's remain work from home, you want to make sure that you have your career tools ready and going to make sure you can look for other opportunities. And of course, guys, if you have questions, just general questions in regards to this type of organization or others, you can go to metroshelley.com/contact, where you can leave me a voicemail or an email message, or join my email list for exclusive content that will be coming up. Of course, guys, I want you to be aware that we are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will be absolutely grateful for you guys doing that. And make sure, of course, if you have other, if you have things to contribute to that, definitely go ahead and let me know what you think about the situation. Some of these employers do not know how to stick to anything besides their bottom line, so they will say and do anything to get what they want, what they think is what they want, even though it's, in this case, they're going to sacrifice productivity. All right, guys, this is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally. Make sure that in every situation you are ready. So have your career tools ready, and we'll be more than happy to assist you here at mentorshelley.com. All right, guys, take care. You have a good one. Bye.